Just when you think you may have something going on that's kind of nice for this franchise, they remind you why they are the Jets. All right, everybody, welcome aboard here to the Sports Talk Nation for another edition of the Jets getting smacked around like a Raggedy Ann doll. It's become kind of commonplace around these parts over the last several years, and today was no exception. Really, folks, I think what you have to take from this game, the biggest takeaway, we'll get to the quarterback play and all that other stuff, and the quarterback controversy, so-called controversy, in just a moment. But what you take away from this is that these are two different teams going in completely, totally opposite directions. You see a Buffalo Bills team that is primed for a deep playoff run, a Buffalo Bills team that got smacked in the face last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, responded nicely on their part, and beat up a team that they should have beaten up on, and they did exactly that. They did everything right in this game. Josh Allen was fantastic. He was accurate, and they rolled over a bad Jets football team the way they are expected to do so. And, of course, the Jets had really no answer whatsoever. So I think from that standpoint, the result 45-17 isn't that surprising at all. I think what disappoints you from the Jet fan standpoint is the fact that how poorly, so many different things that bother you from the Jet fan standpoint. One, the defense, again, has been awful. I mean, the Jet defense has been bad for a very long, has been bad, inconsistent all season. We knew it would be a problem going into the season, but man, this unit just flat out stinks. And this is a unit coached by Robert Saleh, who came here from San Francisco as a defensive coordinator. This was his forte. This was a guy we saw, basically veins popping out of his forehead when he was the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, jumping up and down on the sideline. And he's taken the Todd Bowles approach, just standing there, arms folded, just survey. There's not much going on there with that defense at all. Really not much at all. The Jets' defense, last 4 games, I don't have to tell you this. 54 points allowed, 31 points allowed in the game they won against Cincinnati, 44 points allowed on Thursday night against the Colts, and 45 allowed today against the Buffalo Bills. The Jets' defense is giving up 43 points a game in their last 4 games. 43 points a game, I don't even know what to say after that. They have no pass rush. Their secondary is atrocious. There's nothing that they do right. They don't force turnovers. As we all know, they've only forced the one. They did have an interception in this game of Josh Allen, but up until this game, only 1 turnover they had forced the entire season against Cincinnati. There's not much good you can say about this defense, and I think that's the biggest problem the Jets have, other than the quarterback situation, for that matter, and the concerns you have there. This defense just doesn't play well at all. Yeah, they're going to need a lot of work in the offseason. That's probably the biggest understatement of the year, for that matter. They got a long way to go. I mean, again, I understand. Look, they're going up against the Buffalo Bills, who are a very good offensive team. Josh Allen was having a Pro Bowl year up until the last couple weeks, and they've been struggling. But 366 yards passing. Allen really under no pressure except for the 1 sack that they had on him. They just did whatever they wanted. They really did. Up and down the field with absolute ease. Stephon Diggs had 162 yards receiving. Gabriel Davis had 105 yards receiving. The Bills just made it look easy all day against this Jet defense, and the Jets defense had no answer. And then on the flip side, offensively for the Jets, again, questionable play calling. They tried to be very aggressive early, and Mike White almost threw an interception on the second play of the game. And then they just kind of went into a shell a little bit. They tried to run the ball more. They tried to get more conservative, and it really didn't help. And this is when the Jets were still somewhat in the game, down only 10-0. And they really never established anything on the ground. Of course, the Buffalo Bills did a great job against Mike White, taking away the passes down the middle of the field. They did a great job in zone coverage, and there was really nowhere for him to throw. He ended up throwing 4 interceptions in this game. And I think for a lot of people, the Mike White story has been a great story. And as much as I think what's disappointing from the Jet fan standpoint is you want to see that continue. You didn't expect maybe the Jets to win this game. You want to see Mike White at least throw a couple of touchdowns in this game, keep the team in the game, be competitive. Unfortunately, we got what would be the worst-case scenario instead, and that was a game where he was going to turn over the ball all over the place, not look good, and the offense overall look incompetent for that matter, and that was the case. 4 interceptions, and I think there's, without question, I know the Jets are going to say the right things this week. You know, it all depends on Zach Wilson's knee. It all depends upon a whole bunch of other things. Chances are you are going to see Zach Wilson back under center when the Jets play a game again next week against Miami Dolphins, and if not, certainly by the time they play Houston in a couple of weeks. The Jets are in the underbelly of their schedule. They're going to use this as an opportunity to get Zach Wilson back on the field. So the Mike White story, most likely, hate to say it, would have liked to have seen this guy, like to see this story continue the way it did a couple weeks ago against Cincinnati. Most likely is going to come to a screeching halt, for that matter. So we're going to see Zach Wilson again return to the starting role here within the next couple weeks. Not exactly like he was lighting it up either. I mean, he has certainly struggled at his first 5-6 games in this league, aside from maybe moments in the Tennessee game. He has had a lot of issues, and he's got to figure it out. And so it's not like he's going to come in here and start lighting it up here for the Jets either. I highly doubt that's going to happen, even against the underbelly of the schedule, but they're going to put him in. He's a second overall pick. Joe Douglas, the ownership, they're going to want to see this guy play again. So I think that the debate certainly over, especially after this game today. Again, not all the mistakes today were Mike White's fault. I mean, Corey Davis fumbling a football on the biggest pass play of the game, a 28-yard completion, and he's backing into field goal range. And all he has to do is get down. The Jets have to call a timeout, and they can kick a field goal, go into the half down, 17-6. Instead, he fumbles the football back to Buffalo. He just drops balls. He fumbles the ball over the place. He's been bad. So it wasn't all on Mike White today, and certainly you can take a lot of umbrage with the coaching in this game. You can take a lot of umbrage especially with the way this defense played for the Jets in this game. But again, it's all about the quarterback, and I think that this is going to push the Jets into a direction where they're going to say, okay, Zach Wilson's knee is good enough going into the Miami game next week. Most likely, the Jets are going to see Jet fans are going to see him back under center next week against Miami. So there's really not much else to say with this with regards to the Jets. It's just, here we go again. What else can you say? Just kind of quickly around the league, very, very, very quickly. Detroit and Pittsburgh ending in a 16-16 tie. That game was ridiculous. I saw the end of that game. That was absolutely atrocious. Maybe one of the worst games I've ever seen. You think watching Jet games is bad. Try watching the end of that game. That was absolutely terrible football, just in overtime. Patriots all over the Browns, 45-7. Boy, oh boy, the Patriots look like they're going to be good. Going to be pushing for that last playoff spot. Maybe even push Bills for that division right now. They're clicking right now. Colts over the Jaguars. Cowboys annihilate the Falcons after they got annihilated by Denver last week. And Carolina, how about Cam Newton with his comeback? I guess maybe the Panthers are going to try to ship Sam Darnold back to the Jets. I'm only kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Cam Newton on fire for the Panthers as they're clobbering Arizona right now. So, folks, another bad day for the Jets. What else is new? Nothing. You know what to do, folks. Like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think about this game? Who do you pin the blame most on this defense? What's going on with this defense? Leave your thoughts below about what do you think's going on here. When are they going to turn it on defensively? And what are your thoughts about the Mike White-Zach Wilson debate? I guess the debate is now over. Zach Wilson is going to be back under center sooner than we think for the New York Jets. So, again, like and subscribe. We'll talk to you next time.